and Storm hooks up with Natalia that night.
Oh,
That
that's
was
a
that was
busy episode.
that was a
Yeah.
really. I remember thinking like this could be an all time season after that episode,
Yeah.
and that didn't happen unfortunately. But
Now, now, Sean, I gotta ask. Honestly, I have to ask you this like final blowout. This is like every charter in Below Deck sailing yacht,
oh yeah,
and this final blowout was pretty lit. I'll have to say, like the girls were flashing. Storm wanted to go streaking. Like I, I don't know where all this energy came from and why they only had it at like the very end. Like I get it, like a final hurrah, but like the fact that they had this capability, this was like a 10 of a party. Everything else was like a 4.
yeah, yeah. They never partied on the boat ever,
Yeah.
and that's where like I don't know, like them going to bars and stuff is fun too, but there's something about the boat where I don't know. Like there's all these rooms available. Like there's just more
Yeah.
possibilities. There's a
Yeah.
hot tub.
There's yeah, like we're in like you're not in a bathing suit on land, but like you go in the hot tub. By the way, it looked like the hot tub was drained. Did I get that right?
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah. They were
Why would
never
they do
in it.
that?
I don't know.
They had the pole set up. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, the pool was cool. I mean, I think everyone had a good time. I guess it's just reasonable for us to say like, why couldn't we gotten close to this between charters? That's kind of where I like. I'm glad they did it, but like, it's one of those like, well, you showed me you had it all along, and like,
Yeah. Well, Natasha was getting texts from her boyfriend. Storm and Natalia were fighting over stuff.
yeah,
Uh, Dave was calling the night early because he was upset about Natasha.
yeah, makes sense.
Jason, what do you think? Jason was going to start the party? Like,
I actually, when they did like previously the season on Below Deck Med, I was like, oh my god, Jason, like totally forgot about the guy.
it hasn't been that long, but yeah, you're right. I sort of
No,
did too.
yeah, yeah. I was like, I remember Reagan a lot more than I remember Jason.
Same, same.
Yeah.
Oh, John,
Uh,
should we talk Storm and Natalia?
yeah. I mean, I think this was like the inevitable thing where it's like Storm really likes Natalia. Natalia's how old was she? 20 something?
24.
She's 24. Like, she's not gonna try to make this work with Storm. She even kept saying, like, this is our last night. Let's not fight about it, you know? So I think there's like, is there a chance when we get to the reunion next week, they'll be like, oh, did you guys have you guys met up after? And Storm would be like, oh, I went down there once, but we're not together. I mean, that just feels what it is. Natalia is not gonna like settle down with Storm.
Yeah, there's a few moments I really liked from Storm tonight, where he kind of just admits this is like a hard thing for a guy to admit, like I'm gonna miss her more than she'll miss me. A little
Yeah.
heartbreaking. I don't know. I really like that from him. And as usual, they were up and down all episode.
Yeah.
Uh, he really he doesn't mention her as her rose for the season. I like how they go from high and lows to rose and thorns. He doesn't mention her because he knows she hates PDA, and then she gets mad at him. Then he tries to get everyone to kind of go streaking and jump in the river, and she shuts that down. He gets very upset about that. Just like the entire season. Like,
Yeah. And it was actually so funny. It reminded me of like old school clearly. And I think you tweeted this out where it's just like, he's like, yeah, everyone's behind me. Storm was even like, no, yeah, they're coming. They were in the van. They said they were going to
we
do
all
it.
agreed to it. We're all gonna do it.
It
Natalia. Yeah,
was pretty
yeah.
good, man. I liked it.
I doubt there's no future there, right?
No,
That's probably
no.
confirmed. I just haven't checked,
Yeah.
but I'm sure I'll find out
So
at the reunion.
yeah, speaking of the reunion, how excited are you? I think I tweeted out, I said from meh to not at all. How excited are you for a virtual Below Deck reunion? Like, I get it that these people are all over the world. It's not like you're doing like the Below Deck, like it's not like you're doing like the Real Housewives reunions, which honestly look like a nightmare. But like the below deck reunions are kind of tough because people are all over the world. And you can't just like be like, oh, I have to leave the boat for 4 days to go back to the
That's
US for
true.
an hour long thing.
But John, they used to do them in person. They did.
Well, yeah,
So they stopped. They stopped somewhere around COVID, maybe right before COVID or during COVID. But let's get them back in person.
yeah.
Okay, like I know like reunions aren't as important to Below Deck as they are to like the Housewives, but you did them before. Let's do them again.
Yeah.
I
I
think
agree. And that's why I said I'm like really like listen, I'm gonna watch it. I'm sure it's gonna be like Natalia and Natalia and Storm, and then like I don't know, Dave and Natasha, and then Kyle and Natalia. And it's like I get it. Like I get that these are storylines, but I don't think like we need to like go into it much further. So I'm glad it's only a one-parter. But it's honestly, did we
yeah,
talk about this? It's on Tuesday.
this
So
next
below deck,
Tuesday. There, yeah, Bravo's not that excited about it either because they're burying it the Tuesday
yeah,
before Thanksgiving because they're giving Below Deck Legacy the full Monday because that's
yeah,
Captain Lee. Hey, it's not gonna, you can't bump him.
he's the franchise.
Yes. Maybe they're doing it to try to bump up Adventure on Tuesday next week.
Yeah, yeah,
Who knows? But yeah, clearly Bravo's not that excited for it.
yeah. It's pretty evident with a Tuesday slate. So we'll record twice next week. Um,
Yes, sir.
but Sean, let's get into your final crew rankings. I feel like we don't really need to do a like who won and who lost the episode. I feel like your crew rankings will help us show who won and who lost the season. So we got a couple minutes here. Let's just kind of, I mean, you got it down. Let's run it down.
Love to, John. First place, Reagan. First 4 episodes of this season were absolutely electric. You never knew it was going to happen. I mentioned my highlight of the season was, Reagan getting fired, plus the Dave and Natasha breakup, plus Storm and Natalia. She's a part of the best moment. Like Reagan number one.
Okay.
Number two,
Sean, I know you got to get through it. But I'm gonna stop you right there because I feel like there are a couple listeners who are like, Sean, what the hell are you doing? She was only in here for 4 episodes. How could you make her number one? We all hated her, yada yada. And I'm like, I'll say this, Sean, you never disliked Reagan. You thought she was phenomenal for TV. And if I have to kind of think about it, like who else was super strong this season? There's not a clear one.
There
If you know what I
wasn't.
mean.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So funny. We number two, Storm. Now, interesting thing, John. Storm is the last to leave the boat. That's kind of like an honor the producers give to like a crew member. It's usually like like Daisy or like Eddie, maybe, or like a Gary because he lives with Captain Klein. But it's
Yeah.
usually it's like the most important crew member.
Yeah.
And I've Storm too. He's a fun guy, except when he's not. But you know what? I feel like we really got to know him pretty well. Like I mentioned, like tonight, like how open he was about like him and Natalia. Guy was always pretty real with us. So I'm picking Storm 2. And I'm picking Dave 3. They're kind of, you could kind of either or them.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of ditto everything I said for Storm. I said as far as like Dave 2, like a flawed guy, but really felt like as an audience member, you kind of connected with him. And, he has his bad moments too, but really, really like Dave. So that's my top 3. Tied for 4th is Courtney and Z. They're not main characters,
Yeah.
but I like having them around. John, 5th place is Natalia. Now, she's crazy, but I think she's good for the show. Then tied for, oh, I'm sorry, Natalia 6.
Yep.
Tied for 7th is Reed and Elena.
Yeah.
I actually really like both of them. I kind of want to see if they could have worked. but it's wasted potential there. Maybe we'll see them again sometime, but
Yep.
I don't know. Elena's a beautiful girl, and Reed's just kind of a cool guy.
Yeah.
He really
No,
grew
I
on
get
me.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and especially for like mid-season people, they usually never work out or are never memorable.
Yeah.
Maybe they won't be either. We'll test. We'll see. If they're back, one of them is back next season, you'll probably remember them.
Yep.
But for right now, tied for seventh. And then John, after that, I've got Kyle. Great first half, terrible second half.
Yeah.
I think we both agree on that. In 10th place, I have Jason. Now, John, my as far as like most memorable moments, second place for me was actually Jason asking Storm to fire him because that's never happened.
Yeah.
That was a good moment. Like that was
Yeah.
like I'll remember that. But guys, ultimately a big bummer. And you also you forgot he was around.
I yes. I forget about Jason. I'm probably gonna forget about Jason. Like if he goes, I don't even know if he's going to the reunion. We'll see.
I doubt it. And then John last place, and it's Natasha. And man, for a chief stew, you should not be last place.
Yeah.
But I just read a note for her. I just got really sick of her real quick. I don't know. Every time we get a text from Natasha's ex-boyfriend, that's kind of her fault. And
Yeah.
if there was a low light for the season, it was all those texts we got.
I genuinely don't know what like she was thinking, being like, yeah, you can have my texts. Like I feel like you should just be like, no, I'm not giving the producers my text messages.
She was like the fifth person to leave. Chief Stew is always
Yeah.
like last or second to last.
Well, here's the thing. It's like Sandy was like, oh, I was so glad your level of service was amazing, yada yada. And I feel like now like she's just gonna like bash her at the reunion, which I don't even know who's going. I don't know. I heard a rumor Natasha's not even gonna be there. Not surprising.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
You're the Chief Stew. So I think the producers like they whiffed. I think they would admit they whiffed.
Yeah.
You can't whiff on the Chief Stew.
No.
So I mean, like we'll put a pin in the season next week with the reunion, but there we go. Natasha, a Chief Stew should not be last in the career rankings. And here we go, John.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. We'll be back next week for Below Deck Legacy and then the reunion of Below Deck Men.
Beautiful, everyone. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Bon voyage.